Yeah, we're good. Mayor, just remember to turn your mic on.
I did. Good evening. Time being 7:01 on October 9th, 2023. I'd like to call the regular scheduled council meeting of the town of Copper Canyon to order. If you'd all please stand, face the flag and repeat after me. I pledge one honor the Texas flag. I pledge to the one state under God, one and indivisible. First item tonight is public input. Anyone may speak on an agenda or non-agenda item for a period of 3 minutes. If you need an additional time, you may be allowed that by consensus of council. Is there anyone to speak tonight? Troy, you have any? No, nobody signed up. Anybody? Good. Staff and mayor and council report. I don't have anything pressing. Council, anybody have any report on their liaisons? Hearing none. Move on. Next item is public hearing. The town council of Copper Canyon will conduct a public hearing regarding amending a zoning ordinance by amending exhibit 14A of the zoning ordinance article 2 general district zoning regulations, section 2-102, the use of yard and bulk requirements by adding subsection flag lots driveways. Council, this is something that P&Z has been working on. And we never really had whether we allowed or did not allow a flag lot because of the way it read. So this is clarifying a flag lot and allowing for it. So this is a public hearing, and anyone here to speak in favor or opposition of this ordinance may speak now. Hearing none to speak in favor or of an opposition, I will close the public hearing. Next item is staff report. Staff.
Mayor, just a couple of quick updates. The first is on the PD, and we've completed the soil testing. We did 3 boring sites, 1 over here where the expansion is going to be and 2 in the parking lot. So we should be getting those test results back next week. We also had surveyors out today to kind of tie the building down and look at slopes and all those things that are associated with engineering and making sure that that's all constructed as well. We are in the process of accepting resumes for the chief. We're up to 16 resumes. And so the committee will be meeting on October 18th to review those and rank those. Following that, we will proceed with in-person interviews for the top 4 or 5 candidates based on recommendations from the committee. So that's happening pretty shortly. One of the things that some people may or may not know, the corner of Vickery Boulevard and 407, TxDOT is starting to engineer that intersection to have signal lights. Their process is pretty lengthy, so it'll go through an engineering phase. It'll take 3 to 4 months to get that complete. Then they'll have it go out to bid. And then they'll start ranking kind of those bids and deciding when that'll tee off. They're estimating that may happen in the 2025 timeframe. So we still got another year before we'll see that from TxDOT, but that's roughly what that is. And I'm meeting with Chris, our town engineer, this week, and we'll be assessing the road conditions here in Copper Canyon and kind of putting those in priority so it fits into our CIP. Whether they may just need some crack sealing or just what conditions those are. So we'll spend a full day doing that this week as well. Development is you'll just kind of see some permitting there, where we're at with those in the different residential areas. Engineering, doing the stormwater MS4 process. Chris is working on those things. And then the update from the fire department, one of the big things there is the elections coming up. The creation of the ES2 is up for vote. I've been working with Megan and the chief, and we're going to have some type of a town hall meeting next week, probably here in this facility. And we're just working on schedules to educate folks on what that really means as they, propose that creation of the ESD2. But those those are my updates, and there's some web page links in there as well associated with that.
Okay, any questions of staff? You agree?
Yes. So with
traffic is to be equal to the traffic that comes Jernigan. And the danger is at Jernigan Road, not in Newburgh. And we really need to look at that, because that's something that I believe is a hot issue for Woodland Acres, for Woodlands, and anybody that lives on Jernigan. Jernigan is the hot spot where the meeting. I don't know where the designation came that it should be a Vickery. That's missing the boat.
I'll explain that. About 18 months ago, 15 months ago, I got a phone call from Senator Nelson, Jane Nelson, who was still a senator. And she had bought a property in Vickery. She was going to move into Vickery before she became Secretary of State. And before her term was over, she had contacted me, and she had contacted TxDOT about a light there. And that's where the process started at. So Jernigan was never on her radar screen. And it was on our radar screen because we had discussed it in previous council meetings about the necessity of that when Williams was starting to develop. So it was in somewhat in our radar screen. So she contacted TxDOT directly and got them working on it. Initially, they rejected the need for it and said they would revisit it in 18 months. And we're closing in on that time frame now. So that's kind of where it started at. Jernigan was never brought into this.
Ron, is there any way we can engage Jane Nelson on that? Because
Well, she's out of it now, and it would have to be Tan Parker now, because Jane is now Secretary of State. She's
Right.
no longer state senator. And but you're not going to get two lights because they're too close together.
I understand that, but let me tell you, there is no comparison.
Well, I think that what you would argument that would be made is that on Jernigan, you have another route out that will take you to a light. They don't. And the other route out is either through Terracina or down up Chin Chapel. So just from my experience with, they're gonna look at those things.
So are we going to get the opportunity to entertain our?
Probably not, because it's really TxDOT's decision.
So is TxDOT going to come here and join us?
Well, we can
certainly ask.
certainly.
I'm going to tell you something, and I'm usually very agreeable on things. Steve, I'm going to let you weigh in on this, Chase, but there is no comparison. Trust me. If you want to talk about safety, coming out of Victory as opposed to coming out of Jernigan, it's night and day. And if you drive on Jernigan, it is a real challenge.
Well, we'll have to communicate this with TxDOT. That's where it really goes to. So,
Yep.
And we will.
Okay.
We will.
Yep.
But it's really in their ballpark, and we will communicate those concerns. But that's how that all came to pass. And it was a senator in the state.
I get it.
Who had the right pull and made the right phone calls. And that's why we're here today.
This is one I'm not going to back down.
Okay.
The other thing that we talked about before is a deceleration lane for Jernigan,
Right.
which
But
TxDOT also
reiterate that.
they also rejected that, which I think is stupid. And frankly, we had conversations about the fact that we're just going to be now waiting for people to get hit and have accidents accumulate until TxDOT acts.
Let's,
I think that's a bad policy.
let us deal straight through, Tan.
Yep.
Let's get something to Tan's office.
Okay.
And we need to that's the way we need to handle this.
Got it.
Okay, yes, sir.
I agree with the comments about we need to take, since nothing's been done, no ground's been broken. It would behoove us to take a hard look with DOT about what is the appropriate thing, what kind of numbers are going to, have they done a study? Do we really know how many vehicles are moving? I understand that folks coming home in the evening westbound on 407 going to be turning left into Vickery is a big problem. And that's going to slow 407 down to a crawl. So we need to study this before they spend a bunch of money and make the best decision, I think, for the folks of Copper Canyon. Troy, if you could update us on the TCOL application. Where are we on it? Has it been sent in?
So we're getting all the documents collected. I've got about 99% of it done. And so got the form signed. Ron signed, the mayor signed that today. So we're going to get that sent off this week.
All right. Yeah, that's now our biggest hurdle,
Right.
as you know. I'm preaching to the choir here, but we need to really stay on top of this because until that gets done, nothing else is going to happen. And
Right.
that is really every other hurdle so
Yeah.
far has been handled. And I think that we need to really focus on getting that thing out there and get it up.
Can we start this week? Can we call? And maybe, Ron, this is something you could consider, the mayor calls that might expedite it,
Okay.
right? I mean, see if we can put some pressure on the system. Because otherwise it's just going to be an application with no imperative.
We have a contact there, I believe, with who's an outside rep.
Yeah. So
That's correct.
we've got a contact in Austin that we're working with. And so I'm going to fax them or email them a PDF of the entire notebook. So we make sure we didn't leave anything out. And then we'll send it directly to her, the
And then
process.
Get me that. No, if you got a contact number, I just would talk to somebody if I
Yeah.
could.
Certainly can do that.
The message that we've given the folks in Austin is we are willing to do everything and anything that they need to jump through all the hoops and get ourselves authorized to have law enforcement. So they're well aware that we are most cooperative and are very anxious to see this through. And we're going to do whatever it takes to get it done. So they're aware of that. But we do have
Yeah.
contacts there.
But we should put pressure on.
Yes,
It's a question of being cooperative. It's a question of, it's an imperative for the town and we think it's a public safety issue.
right. Anything else, Troy?
That's it, Mayor. Thank you.
Good. Fire department or Chief on anything tonight or? Please, we love hearing from you.
Fire Chief, Benton County HD1. Just had a couple bullet points. I'll be brief. Just one, I think last time I briefed you that we would be paying the firefighters to making their retirement account. And I will tell you on September 21st, all those payments were made and all our firefighters retirement accounts
Really?
have been made whole. So it's a big positive, great news. That was a huge thing, I feel like we've accomplished a lot in the last 9 months, but that has been a huge win for us to get that. We also had some great news that are going to be awarded a FEMA grant to hire 9 firefighters, which will help us on our firefighter side as far as if we weren't really fully staffed to the level we need to be. So we're still going to have to fund it. We're still going to have to long-term pay for it, but it helps us jumpstart some things. So it will be beneficial. So that's another win. So that was something we put in back in the spring. When we filled it out, I didn't have a lot of hopes and expectations because it is very competitive across the country. And so to get that, I commend our team working on that. It's just another huge success story in a very short amount of time. So really excited about that. We've also have a balanced budget. We talked about that last time, and we have a balanced budget going forward. We did set our tax rate. Our tax rate was 9.3 cents, and it went down to 8.028. So we actually went down about 1.3 cents. So our tax rate did go down, but we're still able to fund the fire department. But of course, we've also got the long-term thing we're going to talk about with the election. And we are working with Troy to set up maybe a town hall meeting. We're doing one tomorrow night with Bartonville, and just to kind of educate the public, tell them just what's going on and kind of answer their questions. And so we'll be more happy to do that. But Just on the elections, I just want to kind of reiterate, it's important to vote. Please come out. Feel free to ask. We do have a couple of websites you can go to. There are 3 ballot measures for us. It is a special election. You do have to come to the fire station to vote on those measures. You can't, it won't be at any other polling location. We will have the exact same hours as the elections. It's just been a different location. So those early elections begin on October 23rd and they go all the way until November 3rd. And then the election day will be on November 7th. For early election, it'll be just Fire Station 511, which is at South Gibbons Road and 407. And on election day, it'll be at all 3 stations. So then you'll, at that point, you'll have to vote in your precinct at that station. So most likely the station closest to where you live is where you'll be. So with that, we've got a lot of information. We got a couple of websites you can go to about that. And I can go over all that tonight or I can answer some questions, but the big one is for the ESD2 is Denton County ESD2.org. And if you want any information on the annexation of Lantana, which we've talked about previously, you can go to our regular website, which is Denton County ESD1.gov. So we'll go into that now. And or you have any questions, I'll be more happy to answer. But if you want to wait till we have a meeting, we can do it then too.
We're gonna have we're gonna do an open house here.
Yes,
Correct.
We'll get that scheduled.
Just for your information, I talked to Judge Eads. As you know, tonight we have an agenda item to appoint Mark Pate as a potential representative to the board. And I was speaking to Judge Eads, they should be doing that business on their side in December.
Right.
Is the intention. So
Yeah, there will be a couple of positions that will become open or that will be eligible open in starting in January. Of course, if there's an election and the ESD2 is created, then the judge will also be appointing members for that as well.
Right. So we've been nominated Mark Pate and hopefully, and I've talked to the judge about that and hopefully they'll be taking that action in our favor. So
Any questions?
any other questions, Chief?
This is a very important election, but a unique election. Is there anything worth thinking about? Because for most citizens, they're used to going 1 or 2 places. But if we're talking about fire stations, how do we get the word out on that?
You know, I said to be up to this. We have to publicize it in our website, but we have no real, the problem with this election is it's not governors, no senators, and no president.
Yes.
This is kind of a standalone election that just signs and word of mouth and website is about all we can really do at this point.
And we have been doing a lot. If you've read the Gazette, there's a lot of information going out there. You're going to start seeing. I can't advocate or anything, but I can have the president come up if you want to talk about. But they're going to be putting out signs where they will be advocating. So there's a lot of information that'll be ramping up the closer we get. That's kind of the intent is to kind of slow roll it out and then really kind of pick and hopefully get the attention of people to go vote. That's the intent.
I think the biggest thing on this is people understanding this is not a traditional place where you go to vote. Right. And understanding that, because I do believe we're going to have a good number of citizens who understand the importance of this, but it's not where you're used to vote.
No.
Yeah.
Well, Chief, just to clarify on the voting for early election.
Correct.
Let's say that I'm going to go vote early. If I want to vote on the ESD proposition, I need to go to the Firehouse 511.
That's correct.
If I also want to do my early voting for whatever else is on the ballot, I then need to go to either Highland Village or anywhere else, correct?
That is correct.
Now, on voting day, same deal. I have to go to 2 places to vote on both the.
That is correct.
Okay.
So you won't see.
And I think that's important.
It is.
Perhaps if we sent out an email blast as we approach the election season, explaining that particular nuance, because folks are used to going to one place, you vote and you're done. You're going to have to go to 2 places to cover both items.
And just to explain, we did that. We've talked about this in the past, but it saved us about $15,000-$20,000 by doing our own election, because all the polls were volunteers. We're not paying. Typically, when the county pays people to run the polls, and so in this case, it's saving us some money. So there were some thoughts there. We were trying to save money where we could, and so But you're correct. It will be just a special election just for the fire department. And so, but we've been very out there. Like I said, we got a town hall tomorrow. We had a thing with the Lantana HOA at over there at the Jeters. I mean, we've been every day. We've got something planned. So if we get with Troy and y'all want to have something, I think bringing the citizens to a common area we can meet and discuss and allow them to ask questions and be able to explain that. I think it'd be important to do that.
Is there anything else on the ballot in November?
I'm not sure.
Oh,
I think the state has some
Yeah.
propositions
so the-
relative to land rights and things like
Yeah.
that. But Chief, just one last thing from me. Congratulations on all the work you've done. Your team has done a truly outstanding job. You
Thank you.
clearly were the right man for the job to turn ESD around and to do it properly. Our appreciation to you and your team, and I know you didn't do it alone, but
No,
I know a lot of you put
Yeah.
a tremendous amount of time and you should be very proud of yourselves, and we greatly appreciate that. So
yeah, and
thank
I've
you.
got a really great board. President Sheldon, he's here. They've been very supportive. You know, and I've said this time and time again, you know, there's something inherent in all firefighters, and that is they want to run towards the fire. And it's true. I mean, we did. I mean, everybody just came together. The community came together to address the crisis, and we've had huge amount of support from all the community we serve, and everybody's been very helpful. And it's just made it so much easier for me because there were times I was questioning my sanity at some point. But it's been a roller coaster ride, but I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I'm very proud of what we've done.
Thank you, Chief. Appreciate it. Next item is consent agenda. Anything on the consent agenda may be removed by any member of council for individual consideration or discussion. Is there anything to be removed, council? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the
I'll
consent
make a
agenda.
motion, we accept the consent agenda as stated.
I have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Johnson. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous motion carries. Next item is discussion, action and discussion items. Discussion and consideration of taking action regarding appointment of Mark Pate to serve on the Denton County Emergency Service District Board of Directors. Council, as you know, we made an amendment to one of our ordinance last meeting to allow for this. Mark's clearly, I believe, the right man for this job, and I think you all would agree. Any discussion? The hearing, if not, I'd entertain a motion. Motion to approve. I have a motion I have a motion by Councilmember Andrews. I have a second by Councilmember Liebert. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous motion carries. Next item is discussion and consideration taking action regarding ordinance 23009, amending the code of ordinances by amending exhibit 14A of the zoning ordinance, article 2 of general district zoning regulations, section 2-102 of using yard and bulk requirements for adding subsection 2 to flag lots. This is part of the public hearing, council. Any questions, any other questions on this? Something that Mark, the planning and zoning has been working on and cleaning up for some time. And it's one of those housekeeping things that we needed to do last year. It's now coming forward. So hearing none, I entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion, we approve ordinance number 23009.
We have a motion by the Mayor Pro Tem, second.
I'll second.
Second, Councilmember Liebert. All in favor to approve.
Aye.
Unanimous motion carries. Next item is discussion and consideration of taking action regarding ordinance 23-0010, ratifying the vote for the fiscal year 2023-24 annual budget, which results in more revenue from ad valorem taxes than the previous year. Council, this goes with the discussion we had at the last budget hearing. Our revenue was greater than the following year. This is to ratify that that's the state requires us to do because we had additional revenue.
Yep.
So
And just to be clear, the tax rate hasn't moved.
the tax rate has not moved, and the additional revenue has carried forward into capital improvement fund for future road projects, especially as we build our base for the future of the town that we didn't used to have. The town originally had less than 3 months operating expenses, and now we're much greater than that. So
And for those of you in the audience who were listening earlier about Troy's update about engineers going through town looking at roads, that study will build into our modeling for when roads need to be repaired and what the costs associated with those repairs will be. And we'll have a much better picture of what the fiscal outlook will be like for the next 10 years in town, and we can manage appropriately.
Yes, exactly. Any other questions, council? Not entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we accept ordinance number 23-010.
I have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second?
I'll second. that.
Second by the deputy mayor pro tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous motion carries. Council, the next two items is a little out of policy them that I set 5 years ago, but and I just didn't get conveyed, and apologize for that. Typically, we would do BOA and Board of Adjustments and Planning and Zoning Commission interviews, and you would get applicants. We would, as those bring those applicants forward, you would ask them questions. You would then rate them. You would give that to the town administrator. We would score it, and then that's how we picked who went on what board. This year we had 6 spots available. We had 6 applicants. 3 spots available were renewals. So those people were renewed to the same position they were. The other 3 were for additional 3 vacant spots. 1 planning and zoning, 2 board of adjustments. I do have I believe is Victoria here. Hi, Victoria. Nice to meet you. I know Dane's here and Simon's here. I gave you a mayor's recommendation. It's purely my recommendation, and it was, and there's no science behind it, and no personalities behind it, no politics behind it. I just made a recommendation. We can go through the process and have each one come up, and we can ask them a series of questions, and then you can rate them, and then at the next meeting you can ratify that. Or we can go ahead and move forward with my recommendation. And I think I'm excited the fact that we got new citizens in town that are getting involved in our town, which is very exciting, because I get to go away someday, and Dane or Simon or Victoria gets to come up here and be a council person or mayor or whatever and move on through the system. But it's up to you at this point. We can either move forward with this, or we can postpone it until you have a chance to interview them, but still you only have 3 spots and you have 3 candidates. It's just kind of a simple process.
Mr. Mayor, I've looked at this. I would like to proceed as proposed by you.
Is there consensus of that? There's no vote here, but I'm not
I
consensus.
don't think there's any need to belabor it. We have 6 spots open and we have 6 applicants, so.
So the 3 applicants that are up tonight is Dane Custer, as for planning and zoning, place 1, term ending 9/30/25. And I'm going to do both of them at the same time. Board of Adjustments is Simon Smock, ending 9/30/25, and Victoria Hubbard, ending 9/30/25. Those are alternates, and Simon would be a commissioner, and Victoria would be an alternate. Okay. Is there any other questions on that? If I would accept a motion to approve both agenda items at the same time, if you're so in mind to.
Make a motion, we approve the 3 new applications submitted for the 3 open positions from P and Z and BOA as stated.
I have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second?
Second.
I have a second by Councilmember Liebert. All in favor to approve items number 4 and number 5 with the names stated. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous, motion carries. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate it.
Ron, do we have any of the
Yeah.
newly appointed?
They're all here. Dane, could you stand? Simon and Victoria? Victoria will be an alternate. Simon. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all for volunteering your time, which is without folks in town volunteering their time, not much is going to get done around here in terms of some of the important commissions and things that happen. And, you know, P and Z and the Board of Adjustment are critical to things getting done around here. So our appreciation for taking the time. There'll be days you go, why did I do this? But it'll pay off. Thank you.
What the BOA is very interesting because your decision is final. The council cannot overturn Board of Adjustment's decision. It takes a district court to do that. So whatever decision you make is very critical to the town. Of course, P and Z is very critical just on our zoning and development of the town, which moves forward to the council. But if you deny something, that doesn't necessarily mean we get to overturn you. So we have a great commission on both sides. So, and Jeff is one of those, and which I highly respect. So thank you for doing that. Council, anything else to be on the next agenda? Hearing none, the time being 7:36, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to
I
adjourn.
have a motion by the mayor pro tem. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by the mayor pro tem. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous motion carries.